This episode of the Two Planker podcast is sponsored by Line Skis. Founded in 1995 with a mission to grow and rejuvenate skiing, Line has spent the last 25 years skiing the wrong way and having fun while doing it. Whether it's the playful Line Blend or the Tom Wallish Pro, the lightweight Vision Collection or the cutting-edge Blade, Line offers products that you can't find anywhere else. Be sure to check them out at lineskis.com or your local ski shop to get a pair for this season. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Two Planker podcast. Today on the show, we have the founder of Sno Void Magazine, Mr. Theo Vivian. And we basically spent an hour getting to know him and getting to know a little bit more about his project. The next issue of the magazine is coming out on January 1st, and you can buy that at sno-void.com. As always, if you like the show, be sure to subscribe and give us a rating. Follow us on Instagram at twoplankerpod to stay up to date on everything that we're doing. Theo was recommended by Holden Baldazzi. Hope I pronounced that name right. So shout out to him for reaching out. That's all for the intro. I hope you like it. So let's start off. We're back with another episode. And Theo, would you like to introduce yourself for anybody that doesn't know you?
My name's Theo Vivian. I'm a skier from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, currently living in Montreal. And I also run Sno Void Magazine.
Sweet. Yeah, so Sno Void has been on my list for a while. I bought every issue, as I was showing you before. And I just wanted to hear a little bit about the behind the scenes of it and what made you start it. I think let's start off with like who you are before we get to what the magazine's all about. So where'd you grow up and what's your story?
I grew up in Calgary skiing at the resort there, Canada Olympic Park, COP. All through middle school and high school and university too. I was always going to school right by the hill, so I would always, just go to class for the day and then drive over to the hill with all my gear in the back of my car and, go skiing for a couple hours after class. And that was most of my ski career, I guess, until I switched to mainly just hitting handrails for the last 4 or 5 years. And I don't know.
Yeah. So how did you transition from riding at a resort to riding in the streets?
I don't know if anyone listening to this is from Calgary. I guess some people would be, but the ski resort there, COP, is how do I describe it? It's used to be just kind of a small hill where people would go and ski the rails and stuff, but it got more and more competition centric over the years, where it got more geared towards training for contests and having big contests and stuff. And eventually it lost a bit of the fun of going to just a fun hill. So the logical thing to do was to go kind of start hitting handrails around town, just because I got more satisfaction out of it. And it was fun to just work on a video part. And also I guess I should say I grew up skiing competitions. I was a mogul skier / slopestyle skier for when I was a teenager, basically 13 through 17 maybe. And I just realized at a certain point I wasn't gonna be a comp boss. I couldn't hit jumps and I couldn't do corks. I think the most I spun was a 720 over multiple years of kind of technical training. And I don't know, I realized I'd have to do something else, maybe hit street stuff. What do you ski? The mountain?
Yeah, dude, I'm on the east coast of the United States in Connecticut, so we just got a bunch of small hills. And I just go to my local mountain. Shout out Ski Sundown. I talk about them every episode. But yeah, dude, it's just a small little mountain and just park laps. Try to get it in when I can, but honestly, I don't know why this is, but I've never really explored the street side of things. I've never found a street crew to really roll with. When I was a teenager, we would do a couple things. There was a cemetery with a big hill down the road from me that had a nice stair set, so we would do some air stuff over that. Never any handrails.
Sick.
But yeah, it was
That's
cool, but we never gone on any street missions. Who knows, maybe this season I'd be stoked on that because it looks super fun. And I don't know, could be pretty gnarly. What was your experience getting into it? Were you busting your ass, or did you kind of take to it?
I don't really know. The year I graduated high school, I turned 18, and a few months after, I moved to Whistler, like BC,
Mhm.
and I like just was living in like a crappy room and like working at the Domino's Pizza and skiing like every day, like skiing Wisp Park and Black Park and stuff there. And it was like the most I had ever skied. And then the following year, like I kind of got disillusioned with life in Whistler. Like it was sort of, I don't know if it was really my thing. It's pretty cool, but I like moved back to Calgary, and then I don't know. I just felt like filming a street part was the right thing to do. And I don't know if anyone's seen this video called Metro that was made by Connor Wilson, but it was like the first video part I put out, and it came like right off the heels of me skiing Whistler like every day the previous season. So like I was kind of warmed up to just like hit bigger rails and stuff. And I definitely got broken off, but I'm pretty sure it's like the first street part I made was probably the best, or like have like the hardest spots and stuff. So it's actually funny. I think it's been downhill like since the beginning. I just like hit like more fun stuff now.
Yeah. And so what was the inspiration for that? Like were you looking at other crews on the streets and you're like, yeah, I want a piece of that? Or what inspiration were you taking when you were first getting into it?
Well, there was like Rob Hewell was from Calgary, and he filmed this really sick part called Gary Berta, which was like the main reference like for everything we were doing, because there wasn't really like a ton of street skiing in Calgary. There was like in the mid 2000s. I know there were a lot of crews going there and like for trips and hitting a bunch of spots, but in terms of crews that were actually active in the city, like it was really just like Rob Hewell was filming like little individual video parts, and there was this crew called 403 Media who was pretty sick with like Mark Hendrickson and Braden Schroeder, and they were hitting a lot of stuff. But I don't know, like it seemed like there really wasn't a lot going on in the scene there. So it was me and like my friend Brendan and Sean and Connor. Shout out those guys, they're really sick, and we would just like go and do it. I don't know. There really wasn't a bunch like going on around us to like inspire us.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I mean, shout out Rob Hewley.
He
He's a
was on
nice
the pod,
Canadian
right?
guy. Yeah,
Sick.
he was super cool about it.
Yeah, that's sick. I listened to a bit of that when I was taking a shower the other day, but not the whole thing. It was really sick. Rob is really sick. He's like the guy from Calgary who like really did it, in my opinion. At least like in the sense of like the type of skiing that I'm into. There's like a lot of contest people from Calgary who are pretty good, but Rob was like the cool guy doing it. So it's sick he
Yeah.
went on. I gotta go listen to that. First of all, I mean I think it's crazy you bought all the magazines.
Dude, I
Why'd you
like
buy
it.
them?
I bought them. I don't even know where I saw the magazine. I must have just followed it on Instagram, or I don't even know who cross promoted it. But dude, I love it. There's no other street skiing magazines out there right now. It's kind of like a revival of what skateboarding magazines used to be, at least in my eyes, and that's why I love it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you want to get it, if we can get jump straight into that, like, what was your inspiration for it?
I wouldn't say, I mean, first of all, I'm not sure if it's like really like a technical magazine. I wouldn't say it's like the follow up to Free Ski or anything in terms of like everything in there is sort of like out of date and like funny and just like weird stuff. But you know, people have been sending in a lot of photos, which have been sick. And man, I don't even really know how to talk about it. It's it's basically just like a fun project. I mean, the whole thing started when I tore my ACL or sorry MCL skateboarding like 3 years ago, I think, and it was in September, so it was right before ski season, and I was like supposed to be going out and skiing rails, but I couldn't. And I didn't know what to do, so I just like started going on all the sessions with crutches and just like a camera and like shooting all my friends. And then I didn't know what to do with the photos, so I decided like the best place to put them was probably on print, like as opposed to Instagram, because I figured like they would just disappear or whatever. And I like started printing all the photos in this little book. And before the first one like really came out, I reached out to a friend of mine, Zoe Blewett, who like shoots a bunch of photos, and she sent me like a ton of park skiing photos from like a bunch of random people, and all those photos just came together, and that was like the first edition, which is like pretty cutty. I don't know, like you have it. It's like kind of bad, but it was basically just like an excuse to like print photos and like work on something because I wasn't gonna be working on like a video part that year because I was hurt.
Yeah,
And the ball just kind of rolled from there.
you put together this first issue, and like you said, the first issue is mainly just a placeholder for photos. Like a lot of these are like you got some of that the Yosei, that the movie from
Mm,
Japan, got a lot of them there with like Taylor Lundquist and all of them. And
mm-hmm.
then you do have like some of these more editorial things like video look back and what was the other, like the illegal trick. So when did it go from all right, let's make a photo book to, like, all right, first issue we're gonna interview Cal Carson, gonna throw in some jokey stuff. Like when did you decide, okay, let's make this like an actual, not like a legit magazine, but like let's take a step in the right direction for making a magazine.
Yeah. I think it honestly came down to just we had to fill pages. Like I seem to remember going down to the print shop with like 15 pages of photos, and they're like, this is gonna cost like $16 to print each one, right? Unless you have more pages, because the way like the printing works is the more pages you have, like the cheaper it is. And I was like, okay, if I want to make this like somewhat economically viable, like I should really like fill it out. And thankfully I had like some connections to Cal Carson because I was skiing for Vishnu for like a couple of years, and so he was down to help out. And I don't know, the jokey stuff, I don't really know where that came in, but like a big inspiration for the magazine is like Big Brother magazine, if you've ever heard of it, the skateboard one.
Yeah.
Which going back to read Big Brother, it's like it really didn't age well, and a lot of the stuff in there is really bad and offensive. But like, I always thought that kind of attitude in the magazine of like jokes and like kind of poking fun at people was funny just from reading Big Brother. Like that's the stuff I found the most engaging. So when it came down to like having to fill out pages for the magazine, I was like, you might as well do something kind of like funny and entertaining as opposed to like something serious, because I don't know if people like really care about serious stuff all that much, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely, and that comes across. Like I said, it reads like a skate magazine, and that's why I feel like that's why I said I think it's a great reflection of what street skiing is, because it's kind of this like it's gnarly, but it's also there's like this ironic element of the whole thing. It's like poking
Mm-hmm.
fun. It's like kind of poking fun at skiing. Like you look at the Jeremy Velu interview, and you're asking, it's like worst brand, worst skier, like all this stuff that wouldn't be in a traditional, professional publication, having skiers rag on other skiers. You're throwing it in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like, do you think there's any ski magazine that's kind of replicated what you're going for, or is it only like skate magazines that have ventured into this kind of territory?
Ski magazines, I don't really know. I haven't seen any, but like it'd be sick if someone did it. I'd be down like for there to be more magazines. But yeah, honestly, like I was never that big of a fan of like skiing magazines really at all, because I remember growing up I had the subscription to like SBC Skier, which is like the Canadian ski magazine, and it would like come in the mail every month, and it was just like the worst thing ever. It was like every issue was just like top 15 like resort restaurants to eat at, like après ski type stuff. And I was like, okay, like nobody's reading anything like this. Like nobody cares about this. Like how can I make it like engaging and worthwhile to spend money on? So you kind of have to take something with like a bit like harder of an edge sort of to like justify it being like a print publication, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
No, definitely. I mean, have you always been a print guy? Like that, somebody that's appreciated print, or did you study journalism? Like, where did the interest in this come from?
Mainly I would say skate magazines and like other things. Like I was really influenced by like photo books and like zines and stuff like that. Like those types of things influenced the magazine a lot more than skiing magazines, like as I'm sure like some people would maybe like pick up on. But I was always into like having books, and like mainly like photo books were like a big inspiration to me, and I had a bunch, like a lot of Larry Clark stuff, and I don't know. So yeah, I was always pretty into it, and I still am into it now. Although since COVID happened, I've been having a harder time finding books and stuff around. But yeah.
Yeah. And so, who's the? I mean, after the first edition, it starts to get more serious quickly. I mean, the second edition's all black and white, but then for 3 through 5, and I think five's the most recent one. I mean, these are full size,
Mm.
like actual magazines. So, how did you get your team together? You're the editor in chief, CEO.
Mm.
You give yourself two different titles across the magazines, but how did you
Oh
assemble
yeah.
a crew of people that can contribute and set up the supply chain that actually lets you print this for hopefully for not too expensive?
Um, well, here's the first problem. The supply chain issue is very expensive. That's like one of the big problems with the magazines because the run is so short that it's like very expensive to produce. But okay, that's not related to in terms of like staff and editors, like most people just like reached out to me and said that they'd be down. There's a lot of people interested in writing like weird little pieces and like being interviewed and stuff like that. And I think when they saw the ball rolling on the magazine, like they kind of reached out. That's how I got in touch with like Jake Lewis, who like writes all the weird, funny things that are like at the ends of the magazine, like the top sheet reviews and stuff. And then, like for example, with someone like Jake, he reached out, he did like one article, and then I just like thought it was so funny. Like I would just ask him to write one for like all of the magazines basically. And I don't know. People just reach out to me and they're like down to do it, and like I don't know. I help kind of like make it happen, but it's a lot of the articles and stuff are like self-directed. Like people just kind of do whatever they want. Like yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I also feel like I'm not very good at talking. I think I'm better at writing. If only a podcast could be just like an essay, I think I'd have a better time.
yeah. I mean, I've tried to do one of those audio essays before. I did a whole episode about Banshee Bungee, and
Yeah, yeah, I listen to that.
yeah, how'd you like that one? I feel like that's a pretty interesting story, especially with the actual like literal Karen element of the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, no, that was awesome work, man. I was really happy when I listened to that. Like, and it's cool. Well, it's not cool, but that you interviewed that guy's mom. I mean, that poor kid sounded like he got like pretty beat up. But
Yeah,
it was like sick to like hear the whole story and that you like because I never really figured out what the real end of the saga was. So it was like really sick to hear you like break it down
yeah.
and like I don't know. Maybe I'll give you a job in the future.
Maybe, dude. I don't know how my writing skills are. I think I've had to write some long papers, but never had to write anything for somebody's enjoyment, which I think is a completely different challenge. Writing something in a non-academic
I don't know.
setting.
Sometimes you just got to do it and it comes out fine, I think.
Yeah. Um, we're at an interesting time right now because pre-internet, pre-news schoolers, this would all be in magazines, and then it moved to
Mm.
online, where there was a lot of content on news schoolers, and now it's going back offline for some reason. We're back into print and I'm telling stories on the mic rather than writing them out. Like what do you think's happening to like the content consumption world where people want to read magazines again and they want to listen to long form stuff?
I mean, it could be a couple of things. I think for like the physical media aspect, it's like just nice to own something, if that makes sense. Like it's nice to like have something in your possession. So like I could see like books and like to some extent DVDs and stuff are coming back, which is cool because like that makes it like a lot more tangible than social media or like YouTube or whatever. Just like to own something and you just pull it off the shelf and like check it out. But also maybe I mean, I don't know when the real switch to like Instagram footage and stuff happened, but maybe people are like just starting to get a bit sick of it and the like just the short snippets that like don't really it's not like a whole thing, if that makes sense. I think people are like kind of catching on to it. I think it like really popped off because it was like something new and you could like be exposed to so much stuff, but maybe people realize that it's better to like be exposed to less but better stuff, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's a basically there's an information overload right now. So sometimes rather than having a billion freaking things to scroll through, it's better just to have less choices but higher quality. I mean, who knows if it's even higher quality? But like, you open up a magazine and it's not an infinite scroller. What's there is what you got. And so I
Yeah.
think there's a certain degree of that where it's like, all right, this is Like this is issue 5. You go through it, and then you could go back to it whenever you want. And there's gonna be nothing new. It's gonna be the same thing every time. But you're right. There is something like nice about having it in your possession and then being able to just pull it off the shelf and be like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
It is kind of hard to put into words what's special about it.
yeah. Unless you like do it.
Yeah.
That's why people always thought I was weird because I've always been like collecting like books and DVDs and magazines and like records and CDs. And people thought I was crazy like when I was doing that like 5 years ago. But now like everyone like has a record player and stuff. So like I was sort of like proven maybe right. I don't really know. You
Yeah.
get like any other magazines? You
No,
subscribe to anything?
I don't. Honestly, these are the only magazines that I get. I would be interested in getting some more ski publications, but it's like I can't bring myself to buy. Like maybe I'd buy Forecast, and like I know I see Lupe share a lot of ski journal stuff. So like those
Mm.
people that when I see a publication that has people I respect recommending it, I'm more likely to buy it. But it's just like I can't go into like a gas station and pick up Forecast or ski journal. So I just don't have any other ski content.
Mm.
And I don't know, for some reason I saw yours and I latched onto it. I don't know. It does, it speaks to like this new type of skiing. So that's why I like it.
You ever seen like any of those Mountain Gazette things? The Mike Rogie?
Yeah, I have seen
Those?
some of those too. Yeah, that's another good one too that like I'd be interested in looking into, but it's just like I don't know. For some
Yeah.
reason, I haven't investigated all those different angles of it. I'm so damn busy, dude. It's like I don't know. I haven't have. I mean, what ski publications are you stoked on? Have you read any of those?
Uh, no. I don't know. I really want to get some of those Mountain Gazettes, but I like haven't got like you said I haven't got around to it. But they look really sick.
Hmm.
They're really cool. I'm not like subscribed to anything like any sort of magazine really. Always like just like find stuff on the side of the road and stuff. I read that. Not skiing, not specifically skiing related, but in terms of
Yeah.
general publications.
So like,
Yeah.
what sort of stuff are you talking about? Like local
Um,
publications or like special interest stuff?
Dude, it's like anything. Like I got a big stack of magazines by the computer here. I mean, like, oh wait, never mind. Okay, I'm not gonna show you. Okay, cut this part out. That's dumb. All the magazines I have suck. But uh, yeah, really, I don't know. I think like a big inspiration. I don't know if anyone will have this book, but like it's called Fuse 1 through 20 by Neville Brody, who's like a typographer, and he ran a magazine that was like he would invite 3 like typography type artists like slash graphic designers to design like a font like a typeface for each issue. They came out every 3 months, I believe, and he would like they would make weird art out of all the typography and then make a magazine out of that, and in the back of the magazine there would be a floppy disk because this was like back in the 90s early 2000s, and they would like have all the typefaces and stuff like that on the floppy disk. And I remember like when I first started going to university like 3 years ago. I'm like going into my 4th year in Calgary, and I learned about like this guy Neville Brody through one of my classes, and I ended up buying one of his books. And like that book in particular, Fuse 1 through 20. I mean, I guess we're like talking about influences too. Like that's a big influence on the magazine. Is like, and then that book is like a compilation of like the first 20 issues of his magazine.
Yeah,
So that's like one of the big like reference ones I look towards.
that's cool. Do you are you more interested in specifically for magazines in like the ski world? Are you more interested in biographies, or are you more interested in kind of abstract stuff like opinion pieces and stories? Like what interests you more?
Definitely like more abstract stuff. Like I don't know if I'd be crazy to read a like skier interview or anything. I mean, some of them are good, but like I mean, one problem I have with this whole ski magazine thing is that like I don't know what the hell's really going on in skiing, and I'm not the best at paying attention to it. So if I was like presented like a ski interview with like some up and coming guy, like I probably might not even know like who it is, if that makes sense. So like more abstract concepts on like just like the generalities of skiing and like stuff as related to skiing as an activity are gonna like be more interesting to me by nature, as opposed to like specific stories or like interviews or stuff like that. And like I know that people do want to read interviews and stuff, so I put those like in my magazine, but I also try and have like, I don't know, more like abstract concept pieces
Yeah.
because they just like appeal to a broader audience for like the general population and for me as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought it there because that's what I was going to ask. Do you publish what you're interested in, or do you publish what you think people want to see, or maybe a mix of both?
uh, I mean, maybe a little bit of both, but basically like, I mean, the magazine, we have like a bunch of people writing in and stuff like that, and a bunch of people doing art and like that sort of stuff. But it's really like at the end of it, it's like me personally doing like a lot of the work for it and a lot of the writing. So like a lot of what's in there is just like stuff that I'm interested in. And like there's not really like a whole ton of layers of like, I don't know, editing and stuff. Like it's not like gone through like super specifically, I guess, to like edit it for the general population. Like it's a lot of the stuff is like really like an extension of what I'm thinking, which has definitely gotten me into trouble a couple times. But I don't know.
That's interesting that you said that you don't really know what's going on in skiing, and I like that you said that because I also feel the same way. Like I don't, generally speaking, I don't know what's going on in skiing at any point. Like
Mm,
from any direction unless I really look into it. Like I never know what's going on with competitions ever. Like
mm,
I hardly
yeah.
even knew that the Dew Tour was this week. And
Is
and like
it?
the cruise, it's such an ever evolving like landscape that I don't even know unless I look into it. Like this fall I really did a lot of research into what's going on right now. But yeah, dude, like at any point in time it's such a big diverse industry that it's like no one's gonna I mean reasonably no one's gonna know like every aspect of it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the approach I take to this show is like I just try to show whenever I come across a new aspect of it or something else to show people, I'm stoked on it because
Mm,
there's no way to see every side of it. There's so many different parts of it. I like, and that's why I reached out to you for this part of it. I actually had you out for a while, and then, but I kind of wrote off. I kind of wrote off reaching out to you because on the Instagram it said new issue coming when we feel like it. I was like, all right, this could take whenever. But now you've updated it to January 1st. So what kind of put the fire under your ass to make a new one?
um, I figured everyone would be hungover on January 1st and more likely to be staring at their phones, I guess. I don't really know, like, because I was trying to put the upcoming issue out like in the spring of last year, but I was doing like, I mean, online school in Calgary. It was like the end of my third year at university, and it was like, it was just so busy that I couldn't do it. Like, I didn't have enough money to like pay for like all the costs, and I don't know, it just like didn't really happen. So I had to kind of roll it over until this year. And like, I don't know. I just figured I should probably do it or else like maybe it won't even happen at all. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just figured like it was a good time. Like I have like enough photos. I'm like getting close to 100 pages, which is pretty good. It's like the longest one yet. And like some people have been buying ad space and stuff, which like gives me like enough money to like pay for all the setup costs and stuff at the print shop. And like, I don't know, I just moved to Montreal from Calgary in April, and I had to like basically sort out like all the logistics again in terms of like print shops and like places to get clothing made and stuff like that. And like, I'm just now like figuring it out. Like, I just found a print shop. Like, I mean, the whole reason I updated the release date is because I finally found like a print shop who would like kind of work within my price range to do it, which like made it possible. So, but like, I mean, the whole magazine is so like fly by the seat of my pants. Like, there's really no logic to like anything that ever happens. Like, so there's no real logical reason it's happening now. It's just like is working out that way, I guess.
yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, do you have any aspirations to make it like a regular publication, or is it just whenever you feel like it?
Um, I don't know. Like, I guess it's important to note that like Sno Void is like one of my projects, but like I do a whole bunch of other stuff that's like interesting to me that I spend a lot of time on. Like, I work on a lot of music and like other stuff. Like I filmed like 3 full-length skate videos, and like I just like have a bunch of other like projects I'm working on. It's not like Sno Void's sick, and it's probably my most successful weird entrepreneurial idea, but it's not like I'm not trying to make it like a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's like better. I feel like people wouldn't be as interested if it came out like every month or like every 2 months or whatever. Like it's not as exciting as when it just like kind of randomly comes out and like is good, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like you're not focused on it. I mean, do you care if it grows and more people see it, or are you just putting it out like whatever happens happens?
Right now it's like whatever happens happens. I mean, it would be good to scale it up, but I kind of feel like I don't know, like there's a whole catch-22 sort of thing with it where like in order to scale up production, like I would need more funding from advertisers and stuff like that. But if I want to like write the magazine in the tone I want, which is like making kind of like fun of skiing and like I don't know, some people are sometimes at the end of the joke and stuff like that, like advertisers like will not fund it. So it's like I can like I need money to do it, but like to do it my way, like I can't really make a ton of money off it. So like it's hard to like grow, I guess. More so like I'm just really looking to like I'm going to school for like user interface design, like user experience. So I'm like trying to like I mean maybe really the end goal for Sno Void is to just like have like a big example of like my work that I can show to like a potential employer like in the future, whether it's a ski company or not. Like I don't really know.
Yeah.
I think like another weird issue with the thing is that like it's funny like hearing that the magazine's popular because like I don't really see that. Like especially living in Calgary the last couple of years, like the only people really skiing handrails were like did you see like the video we put out last year? Like POD?
Yeah,
Path
path
of
of
Destruction?
destruction. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are just like all my friends and I, and we would like go skiing together. And those are like the only skiers I really talk to. It's like 4 people. So it's like there's not like from my like viewpoint, it's like I'll put out a magazine and then I'll like hear from Brendan like, oh yeah, it was sick or whatever. And like I don't know. Like I think I don't like understand like how big of like an audience it has, which like maybe like doesn't help the routine of like getting it out and like on a regular basis. I don't know. Because like there's a lot of people who read it and a lot of people buy it, but it's more so just like almost just like a fun joke between me and my like 5 friends. So like I don't know. It's hard to get out sometimes.
Dude, I like that. I really like. I mean, I like that it's not serious. I like that you're not doing super serious gear reviews. Like this is this year's ski. I mean, even if it's like from a company that you dearly love, like I wouldn't want to read it. You know, like I don't think people care about about reviews at all. Like literally at all.
No.
I think that people like don't give a shit. And I think that
Yeah.
this content is like so much better for what skiing's about.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that you kind of don't pay attention. I mean, the sales give you some sort of metric for the popularity, you know?
Yeah. But it's like just for fun, basically, at the end of the day. I never thought that like I don't know. I've never been like, oh yeah, this is gonna be my full-time job. I was always like, no, like this is just like another fun thing I'm working on.
Yeah.
I
And
don't really make any money doing it. Like I like actually like most of the time lose money. So it's like not like something I feel like I can really like I could I guess like make it like a bit bigger, but it's like for what reason really? You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean.
Like,
Dude, it's just so, this is funny, man, because like we're talking about this thing that I really enjoy reading, and you're just like, yeah, it's kind of just a joke, and you can kind of tell that it's like a little bit of like a tongue in cheek joke, but I mean, dude, you're talking about your next issue is going to have over a hundred pages. Like that's like it's like a legit magazine. It's very funny.
here's my next idea for the magazine. I want to have a rave, a big rave, and then that's it. It's not skiing related at all. Or hell, I don't know. I always thought it'd be sick to do a rail jam or something. Like a
That would
rail
be
jam
sick.
that's like a 8 kink closeout rail. or something, and we'll just like set up a sound system at the bottom and just like invite people. I don't know. I just like want it to be fun. Like I don't want to. I got enough stress in my life. I don't want to take it too seriously.
Dude, I love that. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for words of what to say because it's like there's so much unknown and just like whatever about the whole thing. So actually, I do have a question for you because so how did you get like Will Wesson involved and like TallT Dan and like these dudes that like actually really care about the ski industry and really pay attention to it? How did you get them on board? Did you reach out or did they come to you?
I think like Dan was always aware of me. Dan, like for transparency, was like one of the first investors in the magazine. He like when I was putting out the second issue or something, he like paid me to like pay all the writers. Like I was trying to like pay out all the writers, like at least a little bit. And he like helped me with like the money for that, which was like really sick. So like, but I think that's because he knew of me like from my video parts, like as a skier, like not as like a magazine owner. And like, I actually don't even remember how Will got involved, but like Will was like down for like ski stuff. So like, I think it must have been like through Instagram or something. I'm not sure. Will's sick though, and Andy too. Andy was like, we interviewed him for the last issue, and he was like super down to come on. I saw he was like the first guest on your podcast.
Yeah.
Andy Parry.
Yeah, so that was something separate. I don't know if I've ever told anyone the backstory about that, especially like on the show. But I was working on I was in grad school, and I had to do my thesis project about something, and I was in a sports management program. So I was like, dude, I'm doing something about skiing. Like, I cannot write another paper about the NFL. Like, I just can't write about anything that
Yeah.
like I'm not super passionate about. So the whole concept was you had to identify a problem and then propose a solution to it. So the problem I identified was like accessibility in skiing. It's just so expensive and hard to start skiing if you don't start as like a 4-year old, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so I worked with Andy on that project and just reached out to him. And so like that first episode of this was kind of like source material for this paper that I ended up writing for grad school.
Yeah, Andy cares about that stuff a lot. It's pretty sick. I remember when like I called him up to interview him, he just like had so many facts ready to go about like the raising like cost of skiing and whatever. Like I don't know. It's pretty sick.
Definitely, and he's working on something else. He's working on like this kids ski free. Actually, maybe I'll try to do a follow up with him. But he's working on some cool stuff for accessibility. I think I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I met like those guys briefly. They were doing like the Telefriend tours in Banff, and I like went up for those and like talked with those guys briefly or like took the lift with them and stuff. But I don't think they like remembered me nor think that I run the magazine. But they were very nice when I met them.
Yeah, yeah. So in terms of like the Canadian ski scene, what's what's the landscape like? Like, where's the hub of the après, kind of like the people that just ski like twice a year but spend a shit ton of money. Like, where's that epicenter, and then where's like the street skiing epicenter? Because I could easily identify them in the United States, but in Canada, it's just like I feel like Whistler, like the BC area, is kind of
Yeah.
just like the bougie, go skiing 3 times a year, have the most expensive gear. But
Mm-hmm.
is that the case?
Well, like Banff, where like I grew up skiing, it's like an hour and a half from, or maybe like an hour from Calgary. For like, I don't know, anyone who's around here is sort of like that. It's like kind of like one of those like Disneyland style ski towns where it's like just like fake, like it's just like not real. Like I don't know, they have like all the hotels and stuff there, and like people come out for their ski vacation to go to like Sunshine or Lake Louise. That's like, yeah, I'd say Banff and Whistler are like kind of like the touristy hubs for Canada, which is funny because those are like both places that I like lived and skied in. Well, I didn't live in Banff, but I like lived by there and would ski in Banff, and I lived in Whistler. And like, I don't know, those places are really weird. I'm not crazy about them, but like for street skiing, like I don't really know. I guess Montreal, where I am now, because I live with like Flat Stanley, you know that guy,
Yeah, yeah.
and like we live a couple blocks from Party Boy Roy, and like, yeah, so I guess we're gonna go skiing together this year and like film something. I don't really know, but like I can't think of anywhere like other than like here where there's like street skiing going on. There's like a bunch of like Quebecois skiers, but I don't really know. The ski scene in Canada is like pretty small, I would say.
That's interesting. That actually does surprise me because, I mean, at least from my perspective, it's like it's a place that's freezing cold like most of the year, and you're saying that there's like not that many skiers.
I think there used to be. I think like recently it's kind of like died down a bit. Recently, meaning like 5 years ago, maybe till now.
Mm.
I remember there being like a lot more crews like when I was like younger that were like making videos and stuff. But actually, I don't even know. Maybe there are the same amount of crews, but I just like don't pay as much attention. So like I just don't even know. But yeah, I don't really know. It's pretty small. It's definitely not like Salt Lake City. You ever been there?
Yeah, my girlfriend's parents moved out there, and so she's spending the winter out there. So I'm gonna be going back and forth a little bit. I literally just got back from there like 2 days ago, and it's a weird spot, man. It's a city full of skiers and Mormons, and like that's it. It's the most bizarre combination of people ever. You know?
Yeah.
Have you ever been out there?
Yeah, I went not last winter, but the winter before when I was like riding for Vishnu. I went out there to like try and like film for like the Vishnu video, I guess, or like just like to go on a trip there. I was on like winter break from university, and man, yeah, I was like not cutting it out there. That place was like crazy. I remember like going to Park City and like people were just like doing crazy stuff, and I was like just like I could barely even like hit the jumps. I remember like just being so petrified to try and like 360 the jump at Park City. I was like, I don't know, like if I could like live down here and like cut it with these guys. Like everyone there is crazy. It's and there's like so many skiers too. It's like bizarre. I remember like I went to Woodward Park City to like get picked up with some by someone to like go try and find like street spots, and like I remember I was like sitting in the parking lot for like half an hour, like drinking a coffee, just like watching like famous skiers go by. I was like sitting on the bench. I remember seeing like Taylor, like Lundqvist, like walk by. It was crazy. Yeah, Salt Lake City's crazy. I don't think I'm moving there though. I'm like okay with Canada, I think.
Yeah.
Even the Woodward there is crazy. Like I remember always wanting to go to Woodward as a kid, and then I like finally made it there last year, and it was like the ski one. I like just thought that was crazy that I was like at Woodward, and it's just like just outside of Salt Lake City or whatever. But I remember I couldn't afford a pass, and I tried to sneak up the hill and got caught and kicked out. That was pretty fun. So I didn't even get to ski at Woodward.
Yeah. Would you watch like all the Woodward stuff coming out of Pennsylvania, like Camp Woodward?
Yeah, I wanted to go skate there like so bad when I was a kid, but it was just like I wasn't gonna like fly from like Canada to Pennsylvania to skate like a skate park. Like that would be kind of like over the top. I don't know. Couldn't afford it, but like I don't know. It's cool. And they got like the one in Salt Lake City so funny. They just have like a massive rollerblade jump into a foam pit. It's like I don't know, just like funny stuff. It's
Yeah.
cool. I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, you just made me think of this talking about skating. Are you big on Trash Bar in Montreal now that you're living there?
Nah, no, that place sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah, not down. I went to IF3 this year, like alone. That sucked because I like told my roommate, like Flat Stan, that I'd buy him like a ticket to IF3 if he like there was some favor if he like washed the dishes or something. So the tickets to like IF3 were like $7 or something. And then he like didn't do the dishes, and I didn't buy him a ticket, but he thought I did buy him a ticket. And then like the night came around, and I was like ready to go, and he was like, "Where's my ticket?" And I was like, You didn't do the dishes or whatever. Like, you don't get one." So I just walked down to Trash Bar by myself. It's like a couple blocks from my house, and like I don't know. The whole like there's like a skate bowl in there, like that it was really it's kind of lame. I don't know. IF3 was crazy though because I had never gone before, and I always thought it would be like I don't know, like I was like, how many people could really show up for like a ski movie premiere or like whatever? I guess they have like snowboarding too. But then I like showed up there that night and it was just like packed. Like it was insane. There were like so many. It was like the most people I've seen like at a bar like ever. And they were just like there to watch like ski videos. So like that was cool. I don't know. But Trash Bar itself is like kind of the place you like don't go in Montreal because it's like kind of lame. I don't know.
That's interesting, dude. I always, whenever me and my friends would go up there, we like to hit. That was like our pregame spot. We go up there, get some
Really?
sangria going on the patio,
Mm.
try to drop into the bowl. I mean, we're such like I'm such a poser when it comes to skating. Like I suck. I'm just so bad. So we would go there at like earlier in the night when nobody was there. But that's interesting that
Oh
it
yeah.
sucks once it's actually going.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like for context, like some of the reason, I guess like the reason that people aren't down with it is because like there's just like a lot of gnarly like kind of sexual misconduct stories that like come out of there that like are like kind of corrupt. So like people
Yeah.
aren't really down. I forget the story, but like I remember like one guy who worked at Trash Bar like went to jail for like, I mean I can't say it, it would be like slander. He went to jail for like some sort of like sex crime related thing, and then like when he got back out, like Trash Bar tried to hold like a fundraiser for him or something, and like ever since then it's kind of been like Trash Bar has been like not that sick. I don't know.
Yeah. This is just an urban legend. Nothing's on the record. This is just
Yeah,
something that he heard through the grapevine.
yes. I don't want to like get sued or something, but it's a true story.
So what is the good bar in Montreal? Because and anyone that hasn't been, we're talking about Salt Lake City. Anyone that hasn't been to Montreal should really go to Montreal because that is an awesome Canadian city. And
Mhm.
if you're living on the East Coast like myself, it is not even that far away from any point
No,
in New England.
it's really sick. I think like Barfly is like the local spot. They just like got a free pool table and like have bands playing all the time. That place is really sick. But if you come in the summer, they have like a bunch of like DIY like outdoor events, like dance parties sort of that like happen a couple times a week. And like those are like basically where you want to go, but they only happen like in the summer. And I think like, I don't know, that like the outdoor like DIY parties were like what I was mostly into like when I came here, mainly because of like my interest in like electronic music, I guess. I guess like all music, but like so like that's like kind of what I gravitated towards. But yeah, outdoor parties and like barfly is like pretty sick. Go like to a rave in a sewer or something. I don't know. It's pretty fun.
Damn, bro. Do you do any resort riding out there, or are you all in the street now?
I haven't gone skiing this year, and I like don't know when the first day I will be. There's no snow. Like it's like 10 degrees outside right now. It's like I don't know when this is coming out, but it's like December 14th right now. And there's like just like no snow. So I haven't even got my skis mounted yet. I've been having like a bunch of trouble getting my skis mounted here because I don't know. I guess people just like don't ski around here, so it's like kind of turned into a whole ordeal. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I like went down to the ski shop that was like pretty close to my house. Well, I like called them the morning before. I was like, I want to get a pair of skis mounted. Like, how long will it take? And they're like 2 weeks. And like I've worked in a ski shop before, so I know like 2 weeks is just like that's what you say when it's like busy or whatever. It's like never like really 2 weeks. So I like rode. I don't have a car, and like none of my friends have cars because it's like I don't know. In Montreal, it's like so dense, it like doesn't really make any sense. So like I rode down on my bike to the ski shop like with all my equipment and like walked in there and I was like, yeah, I like called in this morning. I like you guys said it was gonna take 2 weeks to get my skis mounted. I just want to drop them off, like just like call me when they're done or whatever. And they're like, oh no, it's actually 2 weeks to make an appointment. And then once you have the appointment, you bring your skis in, and then from there it'll be like a couple weeks. And I was like, uh, okay, like I don't know. I worked at a shop before, and I know it takes like a couple minutes to like get that done. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I like had to like ride even further to this other shop, and like the skis I have this year from Surface, they're like not that big. They're like 115 underfoot or something. And I like get to the shop and I'm like, can you guys mount these up? And they're like, yeah, no chance. Like, don't have a jig wide enough for that. I'm like, what do you mean? They're just like pretty much normal size skis. And they're like, yeah, nah, we don't have it. So like as it stands, those are like the only two ski shops within like a reasonable distance from my house. And so I think I'm just gonna go back to Calgary and get my skis mounted, and then maybe I'll start filming for the year after that.
What the hell? So with no car, how do you like get to the mountain? If you even like Tremblant, for example, you just don't go.
No, not going to the mountain. I haven't bought a season's pass in like 3, 4, 5 years, maybe. Like I don't really know. I would just like. I mean, I don't want to get into the specifics of how I was going to the resort, but like I definitely didn't have a pass and like was not prepared to pay like $120 for a day pass. But here, like I think we're just gonna like bike to handrails, basically. Maybe go for like one day on the mountain or something. Dude, this is like why I like shouldn't be running a ski magazine, because like I don't know like what the hell is going on. I'm not going to the resort. I'm not skiing, and I don't know what's happening in the industry, but I don't know. Biking to spots might be fun. Maybe I'll hop on the bus or something to get to a spot.
Yeah. Uh, so what? So you said you were interested in like you have a lot of other projects, and we'll wrap this up soon. But like maybe like you want to spit some game about what else you're interested in, and like give us a look into another world. Because I mean, this is all only people that ski listen to this. So I mean, if you want to expose some people to something real quick, that'd be pretty cool.
Exposed? I don't know. I just like I'm interested in music. Like I play like in a band in Calgary, which is like currently like I'm here, so we're not like working on anything, but writing some new riffs to like record when I go back to Calgary, like whenever for Christmas or something. And like I don't know, I'm working on like a solo music project. If you like know me, you'll like know what's going on. But
You said
yeah,
you're into reading. What type of books are you reading right now?
uh, right now I'm reading this book called. I mean, this is like lowbrow reading. It's like not like theory or anything, but I'm reading like a book called A Dog with a Hat about like a American cyclist who it's like a biography. He like moves to Belgium to become like a pro like bike racer, and he like gets there and turns out everyone's just doing like crazy drugs, and he's just like trying to keep up, and that's like been a good like entertaining read. For like a day job, I'm like a bike courier. Like I'm like riding my bike like 8 hours a day every day. So like a lot of my like mental I don't know, RAM is used up by like cycling stuff right now, which is, I don't know. This is like, I'm sure the readers, or sorry, the listeners of this podcast are like not going to be interested in like cycling, but I'm like, yeah, pretty into biking and like deliveries.
No, I
I
like that.
don't know. Okay, maybe cut this part out. this, there's no end game
No,
to
this is
this
good.
section, I don't
I
think.
actually, I actually am wondering this too, and I don't know why I didn't bring it up earlier. Like, so you already said the magazine doesn't make much money, and that's something that I expected because like this doesn't look cheap to produce at all. So you're a
Hmm.
full time student and you have a full time job.
Well, I'm actually like deferring a year from university. That's why I'm here, because I go to school in Calgary at Mount Royal University, and like I finished up my third year, and I just like did it like under COVID rules, like it was like what we're doing right now on Zoom, like every day, like for like a full semester, or like sorry, like 2.5 semesters, I guess, year and a half, and like I was just over it. I needed a break, so I deferred a year. Now I'm here just working full time, like just like doing deliveries on my bike, because I was working as like a bike courier in Calgary before, so just like seemed logical to do here when I showed up.
Yeah. Like, what do you do as a bike courier? Because I've
Um,
never heard of that profession other than like something like delivering newspapers when you're like a teenager. So what do you do
oh yeah.
as an adult doing it?
Well, when I was in Calgary, it was just like every day, like get on the bike 8 o'clock in the morning, and like you would ride from. It's always like downtown, so I'd be like downtown. And I would go to like a lawyer's office or like some big company. I'd go to like CBC or something, and I would pick up like documents that are like required to be signed like with a pen and paper, like from one business, and I would like bring it on my bike to another and drop it off, and then like sometimes bring it back and like I don't know, just like deliver flowers and stuff. It's like just like a delivery service, but like when you need something delivered within like 2 or 3 hours or less, even sometimes you would just like, I don't know, I would work for a company that would like send me there on my bike to pick it up and like drop it off. And I do like the same thing here, but it's like I'm like delivering food and stuff and like not as many like proper documents and stuff. which lost me some street cred in the messenger community, but it's okay.
You ever do you ever know what the documents are about, or is it like don't ask, don't tell? Like you pick up the document and they're like, get this here now.
Most of the time you don't know. There's like a couple notable ones where like I would pick up like divorce papers from like a lawyer's office, and then I would like go and serve the person. Like I would just show up at like some guy's house, and I would be like just riding my stupid bike or whatever. I'm like, yeah, yeah, here you go. These are your like divorce, like because they would just say divorce filings like on the outside, like they'd be labeled. Just be like, sorry, man. Like here you go. Like uh, here you go.
Did you have to get
Like
them? Do you have to get them to admit that it's them?
yeah,
Yeah.
those ones were bad. And I also remember like you would have to do like bank filings. So you would like pick up like all the checks like from a business for the day and like go to the bank, and you would like give them to the teller, and they would give you like a receipt for it, and you would like be able to read the receipt. And I just remember like every day I would be like depositing like $15,000 worth of checks, and then like bringing it back to the like office where I got it from or whatever, and I would get paid like $2.75 for the trip, like $2.75. And like I don't know, that was always funny. But I've really always been into like biking and stuff, like especially in the summer. So it was always like delivering stuff on the bike is like the only like type of going pro I've ever like experienced, I guess. Like because I was like I always knew I was never gonna like be a pro skier or anything like from the beginning. So now I just like get to ride my bike and get paid, I guess, which is like close, maybe.
Yeah.
But it pays terribly. I don't know. I don't recommend it.
Well, dude,
My knees are horrible.
it's a profession. It's a profession from like the 1700s, so I'm not surprised they're paying you like super low wages. Are they
Yeah.
paying you per package, or is it hourly, or how does that work?
It's like per delivery. It's like 275 per delivery, and then like uh sorry, like at a proper like not where I work now, but at a proper courier place, it's like 275 per delivery, and if it's like a big box or something, you like get paid a bit more. I don't know.
Damn. And
But you like if you live in a city, like you'll see those people around. Like you'll just like see people biking around with giant backpacks and stuff. But it's only like in an urban area. Like it's not gonna happen like in the suburbs or whatever. But I've always been like a downtown liver, so like I was always like around the couriers and stuff. So
yeah,
it's like how I got into it.
you were raised into the courier life.
Yeah, I got put on by like a couple like pretty active couriers in Calgary. Shout out to them, Tegan, Darren, and Connor. These guys are sick.
Is it
This is probably like so boring to like someone who's like wants to listen to a thing about skiing. Like
yeah,
I feel like we haven't talked about skiing at all.
that's all right, dude. Like honestly, not everyone wants to hear about skiing 24/7. So maybe it's
Yeah.
good to get into the courier weeds. Is the courier lifestyle, is that BYOB? Bring your own bike?
Yeah, for sure. You're not getting the bike. Um, yeah, you just gotta like build one or whatever, keep it running. Uh, yeah, I don't know.
Do they
You're not getting a free bike.
say like you damage your bike in the course of doing business, would they pay for repairs, or is that all on you?
Nah, you get like hit by a car, like you don't like get sick leave or anything. Like you're like all like courier places employ you as like an independent contractor, so you like don't really have any rights or anything. So bring your own bike, like just keep it maintained, and like if you get hit by a car or whatever, like good luck basically, because like you just can't work, so you just like don't get paid. You don't get like injury leave or anything. It's pretty like it's not a good job. You gotta like really want to go biking like to do it.
Dude, it does not sound like a good job, honestly. But props to you for doing it. If you enjoy biking, I guess that's a good way to make some change.
Yeah, I can't justify it.
Word. All right. So now that we turned this into a biking pod, let's close it up. What's on deck for the future? Any big ideas? I really like the idea of an eight kink closeout rail jam. Like
Yeah.
I think that's pretty sick. You got any other ideas in the chamber that joke or not that you think about?
Sno Void dance party would be pretty sick. Um, gonna try and have the new magazine out on time. Uh, I'm playing like some live set. When is this gonna come out? You know,
Maybe by Friday.
if at all.
Yeah. No, I'll
By
edit it.
Friday. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to try to get it out this week if
Um,
possible.
yeah, I'm playing like some. Well, I guess you guys are gonna miss it. I'm like playing a live set in Montreal on Thursday, so I guess like a day before. And I don't know how much. Oscar, you got anything to? What's going on, man?
Yo,
What's going on this weekend?
this weekend, well, just got some freezing rain, so
Yeah, there's freezing rain. He's got a date on Friday. I'd say like that's the biggest thing coming up for either of us.
yeah.
And yeah, no big plans.
Word. All right. So where can let people know where they can buy the magazine?
Snowvoid.com, SNO-VOID.com. Yeah, I have no other links to plug. That's it. Check it out if you want to go there. There's like some videos on the website now. So
Theo, thanks for coming on, man. That was a funny one.
thanks for giving me the time of day.